And welcome once again to United in God's Work. I'm your brother, Chris Wallace. So glad to be a part of your day. Prayer, one of the most important conversations we'll ever have. We believe in it here at Food for the Poor. And so glad to have a dear friend to talk about how necessary it is, not only for you, but for us here as well. Miss Gigi Fontanilla, a dear friend of mine, a daughter of the Most High, as I always call her. And she is the Church Relations Coordinator here at Food for the Poor. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. You know, we talk about how Food for the Poor is the lifeblood. Prayer is the lifeblood here at Food for the Poor. But let's talk about your role. Tell us about your role and why you love it so much.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. Yes, I've been the Church Relations Coordinator for 12 years, but prayer service coordinator the past 2 years since the pandemic. And I just love what I do. I work with amazing people, and some of the things that I do, first off, is I maintain relationships with our Catholic dioceses that we have arrangements with, and I send them the proper paperwork. And also, like I said, since the pandemic, I would be in charge and coordinate the prayer services. And I just love doing it. I love praying with everybody. I love this environment since day one because, we kind of joked earlier that it's kind of like Broadway, where we could just break out into prayer at any moment. And it's just a beautiful thing because I really believe that praying for another person is the most loving thing that you could do for another person. So
these prayer services here at Food for the Poor, how has it affected you both professionally and personally?
Oh, a number of ways. Well, first off, it was a beautiful experience because even before the pandemic, I struggled with depression and anxiety. And the prayers, I would lead prayer, and sometimes it's a message I needed to hear as well. But when I would, be vulnerable, it would really resonate with other people. After the pandemic, it was quite interesting because when I was given this role, it was about 3 weeks before the pandemic. And as much as I loved the idea, I said to my supervisor at the time, where am I going to find the time to do this? And then the
Bingo.
pandemic happened, a couple weeks later, and I had all the time in the world. But one of the things that I learned was Zoom. I had no idea what was Zoom before.
I don't think any of us knew it was.
That has been a great experience, learning that, and still having prayer, not only the prayer services, interdenominational services, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but we would also have Mass Monday through Friday. We have a rosary group Monday through Friday, and also a 3 o'clock group, Chaplain of Divine Mercy group. Oh, and I have to give a shout out to Jadera and Erlene, who are my Zoom hosts. We lead all the services together. I couldn't do it without them.
They provide the technical direction and everything. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's talk about how things changed in 2020, because no doubt, well, first of all, you classified yourself sort of an introvert before that.
Oh, absolutely.
Not anymore, huh?
I consider myself an introvert. So when I was given this role, I had to step out of my comfort zone and become a recruiter. So I would ask anyone, anywhere, in the hallway, in the parking lot, over the phone, over Zoom, would you like to lead a prayer service? So if you feel like you need a sign today, this is your sign. And you could look me up in our global email address book.
All right. Positives and negatives since 2020, no doubt. This worldwide phenomenon changed prayer and the prayer culture at Food for the Poor. What are some of the negatives and the positives that you've observed?
Well, it's kind of been a negative and a positive. The fact that we weren't able to do it face to face. God just didn't design us to be socially distant from each other. And I'm just speaking for myself, after a while, it has a negative effect on you. So that definitely is a negative. A positive, though, is some of our speakers in church alliances, and they're stationed all over the country. We would see them for their annual convocation, where they would fly in and pray and reflect and discuss different things about our mission. And we would see them maybe 2 hours out of the whole year before the pandemic.
Wow.
So now, thanks to Zoom and technology, we're able to see some of them every week.
Wow.
And really get to know them. And secondly, some of them have also stepped up and led the prayer services. And we got to know them, some of them on a more intimate level.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Just one more thing. You talked about, you said there was a story that really showed you how important the culture of prayer here is at Food for the Poor, and these services, even though they've changed. What happened that really shed the light on how important prayer is for you here at Food for the Poor?
Absolutely. One of our colleagues, who's very shy, and came to me during our break time and told me that his sister suddenly passed away about a week earlier. And he asked me, can you come to my house and lead a memorial service in her honor? And I was just blown away when that happened. And we went to his house and met the family and just prayed and celebrated her life. And I just will never forget that experience, that we were able to be a instrument of hope at that difficult time.
Now, this colleague, he wasn't involved in a church of his own.
Correct. It was kind of like we were his only connection to God.
Wow.
So that's why, it is so important that we keep prayer as the center of Food for the Poor. And it's just amazing, and it's been a beautiful experience that we have continued since Ferdy Maffood and Robin Maffood, and it's been wonderful that Ed has continued this tradition of prayer in our daily work life.
Yeah, I'll never forget that day of reflection that we have with Ferdy Maffood in the prayer room there, and seeing everyone crowded around him, and then seeing our CEO and president, Ed Rain, even on the last day we were in the building before COVID, was amazing to see.
Yes.
Gigi Fontanilla is Church Relations Coordinator for our Church Alliances Division here at Food for the Poor, and also oversees the great ministry of prayer services here, serving the service. Gigi, thank you so much for all you do. your friendship, and your prayer. And if we can pray for you, don't forget, we're not just here to tell you about us. We want to know about you. Go to our website at foodforthepoor.org and find out just how wonderful the relationship between you and the Lord can be. It's how we stay united in God's work. For Gigi Fontanilla, I'm Chris Wallace, thanking you so much for making us part of your day. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
This has been a production of Food for the Poor, united in God's work.